Welcome back. Time for another lesson. Perdón, inglés. Hola, bienvenidos. Ahora es tiempo para otra lección del Español 2. En realidad es un repaso del Español 1, pero estamos preparándonos para el Español 2. Ok, vamos a empezar hoy con commands. Now when we're using Spanish, and when we conjugate verbs, we've talked about using the subject to conjugate a verb. I've mentioned in class that we also use time, past, present, future, in conjugating verbs. So far we've been using present. And we also need to mention that there's a mood involved with verbs. Okay, we've got things like subjunctive, like I hope that he opens the door, or I wish that she would wash my car. Apparently my car's dirty because I keep using that example in different lessons. So we've got moods there. We also have something called a command form. Now we have it in English just like we have it in Spanish. I shouldn't say just like, but we have a command form in English. In English, when you do a command form, you're simply removing the subject. For example, if I'm telling you to, wash my car, if I were to say, oh, talking to my daughter maybe, oh, you wash my car. If I say you wash my car, that's an observation. I'm saying, hey, you do your homework every day, you like to watch movies, and you wash my car. You're a great kid. Thank you. No, but if I want to tell her to do it, I won't say you washed my car. I'll say wash my car. Okay? I'll just come out and you take out the subject. I don't say you dust the house. I say dust the house. You use the vacuum. Use the vacuum. You brush your teeth is a statement, but brush your teeth is a command. So in Spanish we have commands also, but it just simply changes conjugations. Today we're going to be talking about two commands, using commands in the to form. Now usually you use commands either in the to or the usted. Okay, and some people say, but you would use it in the formal form? Yes, you can. Like if you're talking to the teacher, you might say, repeat that please. So, do commands. Now it's pretty basic. Let's say we're using an AR verb like hablar. Okay. Normally, in the to form, we would say hablas. Hablas means you speak. But if I want to tell somebody to do it, if I want to tell someone to speak, I would say habla. Tú hablas con tus amigos mucho. Habla con tu mamá. Tú hablas mucho en clase. Habla en el almuerzo. Okay? And this is what we call an affirmative or positive to command. Now it's not in this lesson as we review in the book, but I also want to mention while we're at it what are called negative to commands. I'll tell you what, I'll make negative red and I'll make positive green. Okay. Habla, speak. Now if I want to tell somebody don't speak, I would say no, of course, hables. Okay, let's take a look at this real quick. So we've got the verb habla. Now when it's a command, we use what looks like usted. So the habla here looks like a regular present tense usted. That's an easy way to remember that. And down here, if we look at the negative, you'll see we switch from the AR ending to the ER ending. Habla, no hables. Lee, no leas. Estudia, no estudies. Estudia, AR, no estudies. And ER verbs operate very similarly. Comer. So what would you think that would be in a positive? Now if you just said come, you're right. It it looks like the usted conjugation. Now, what if you want to say, don't eat? No. If you say comas, nicely done. Because we switch over to the AR ending. Okay. Now I know if you're one of my students, I know that some of you did not have this last year. So you might want to spend a couple minutes on this. When we get to commands, or when we get to the command forms this year, we will review this again. So we'll have some time to review this again. But let me give a few as examples and see how you do with these. If I were to say, let's see. Well, let's go back to study. Estudiar. What if I want to tell my friend to study? What would I say to my friend? Estudia. Estudia. Okay? It's still to form, but it's a command. Estudia. What if I wanted to say to my friend, don't study, eat with us? Don't study, eat with us. Talking to a friend. Okay, AR verb. No estudie, AR verb. No estudies. Now I want to say eat with us. Come con nosotros. No estudies, come con nosotros. Okay. Let's try one more. Let's say I want to tell my friend, oh, read the book. It's a good book. It's an ER verb, leer. It's positive command, it looks like usted. Lee el libro. Es un buen libro. Don't read the magazine. It's not very interesting. No leas la revista. No leas la revista. Okay. Now I do have to show you guys just a couple more. We'll talk more about these this year, but I just want to mention two of them. Haz. If you tell somebody, haz la tarea, what verb do you think that comes from? Well, if you said hacer, that's very intuitive of you. Hacer, to make or to do. Haz la tarea. Haz tus quehaceres, do your chores. Haz la cama, make the bed. Haz. Haz is an affirmative to command. It's irregular. Okay, when you're telling somebody to do something, haz. We'll talk about the irregular one in another lesson. I think that was it. Okay, wash the dishes. If to wash is lavar, how would I say wash? Oh, no, I'm sorry, one more. One more. I'll put it down here. Venir is also an irregular that we'll talk about later on this school year. But if you're telling somebody to come here, ven. Ven conmigo. Okay, come with me. Ven. All right, but we won't mess with that one too much. Okay. So wash the dishes. Lava los platos. Okay. Don't wash the dishes. No laves los platos. Something I wish I got told more often was no laves los platos. No laves los platos. Yo quiero lavar los platos. That would be great. Okay, last thing in today's lesson is the present progressive. Now, present progressive, it's another conjugation, but it's pretty easy, pretty quick. Okay, if I were to say, hablo español, just as an example, hablo español, does that mean that I am speaking it right now? Okay, hablo español, but am I doing it right now? No, you're just saying, in general, I speak Spanish. Well, then how would you tell somebody, I am speaking Spanish right now? Oops, I just did it in English. I am speaking. We end up combining using two verbs for this phrase, I am and speaking. Now, we talked already about the verb estar. Can you give me the conjugations real quick as I write them down? Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, so there's a quick review of estar. Okay, so we got the first part done. I am speaking. But now how do we say speaking? Well, if you have an AR verb, you'll put ondo at the end. You'll drop the AR and add ondo. If you have an ER or IR verb, you'll drop the ER or IR and add yendo. Remember that I mentioned that ERs and IRs hang out together, they do a lot together? Yendo, I and the E. So, I am speaking Spanish. Estoy. We take hablar, drop the AR, add the ondo. Estoy hablando. Estoy hablando, I am speaking. If I talk to my friend and I say, Oye, ¿qué estás? What are you doing? Doing, how would I say doing? Well, the verb is hacer. Drop the ER. Add yendo. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Oye, Pepe, ¿qué estás haciendo? Pues estoy comiendo. Estoy comiendo. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? Yo no estoy comiendo. Yo estoy presentando una lección. I am presenting a lesson. No estoy comiendo, estoy escribiendo una carta a mi mamá. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Estoy pensando. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Estoy leyendo. We'll talk about spell change in that one later on. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Yo estoy lavando los platos. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Estoy preparando el desayuno. ¿Qué están haciendo ellos? Ellos están estudiando el español. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú?
Yo estoy wishing this lesson were over.
Okay, done. That's the end of today's lesson. The commands and the present progressives. Okay, chicos, gracias por escuchar, gracias por prestar atención. Espero que presten atención. Hasta luego. Chao.